As I'm working on this video real time, there is a tear coming from my eye. Now whether this is a tear of joy or sadness, I have yet to confirm. On one hand, win or lose, it's the end of Jon Jones at UFC 309. On the other hand, the captive UFC heavyweight division will be freed of that evil tyrant. As an MMA fan, the career and tale of Jon Jones has been a wild ride with mixed emotions. No other fighter has had the highest of highs and the lowest of lows that Jon Jones has had. And through it all, the man has remained undefeated. Now most don't want to say it, but at the end of the day, whether you want to hear it or not,
I know you got this, they don't like this.
Jon Jones is the GOAT. So for this video, let's do one final look as we head into the final fight of Jon Bones Jones.
Jon Bones Jones!
We are learning more about the domestic violence arrest of MMA fighter Jon Jones.
God damn it, Jon. Can't even make a cool intro without you getting arrested. Born in the raggedy town of Rochester, no seriously, the town is absolute garbage. I live like an hour away from there. Jones comes from humble beginnings. His mom worked with disabled children and his dad was a pastor. Now, with his dad being a pastor, I don't know how his father didn't catch and beat the evil out of him when he was younger, but we'll let it slide. The Jones family has elite genetics. A total of 3 brothers, Jones is the youngest and skinniest of the 3. Not saying the guy is little though, each brother is 6'3", 6'4", and absolute monsters. Chandler and Arthur are both pro NFL ballers, so Jon Jones always had the foundation to be an elite athlete. Jon was a state champion wrestler in his younger days, which is a common theme of these elite fighters. Wrestling and grappling has always been the best base for MMA. Now add in Jon's height and long arms and legs, the man was made for mixed martial arts. Jon came in the game young, as shown by the stat of him being the youngest UFC champion at the age of 23. Throughout his career, the man has made many mistakes, but when it came to being inside the octagon, he would always find a path to victory. When Vitor caught him in that armbar and it looked like he was about to rip Jon's arm in half, or when he broke his toe versus Chael in the early rounds, some way or another, Jon would get it done. Take a look at all the big names he's fought, and many of them when he was younger. Shogun, Rampage, Machida, Evans, Belfort, Gustafsson, Teixeira, DC, Gane. Most of these guys are Hall of Famers, if not future Hall of Famers. And Bones beat every one of them. All these fights, and he's never slipped up. Yeah, he had those close calls with Santos and Reyes, but at the end of the day, the W's are on his record. Hell, he's never even been knocked down. One of Jon's most underappreciated things is his chin. The guy can take a hit, but he also knows how to take a hit. What I mean by this is how he rolls with most shots. Jon is a master of distance. In a fight, he will be the one that controls his opponent's hands and how close or far they are. He has those long arms I mentioned and always has his lead hand out to gauge distance. Couple that with his oblique kick and that makes it so tough to land on Jones without him seeing it coming. When you can see a punch or kick coming, you can react to it. You'll tense up or shift back and prepare for impact. But when you don't see it coming, that's most likely when your lights will be going out. In all my professional years of watching the UFC, nobody has used the oblique kick better than Jon. He throws it quick and accurate. With his long legs, he truly has mastered the technique. Jon also has some of the nastiest elbows in the game. His nickname of Bones truly does match the guy. But so would a nickname of Crackhead.
I could look like a crackhead with a suit on, but I've never been a crackhead like you don't.
Now, when it comes to the GOAT argument for Jones, the reason he isn't the face of the UFC and the undeniable GOAT aren't because of his losses inside the cage, but because of his losses outside the cage.
MMA fighter Jon Bones Jones has been arrested again for DWI.
Hours after being inducted into the UFC Hall of Fame, star fighter Jon Bones Jones was arrested.
Fighter Jon Bones Jones was arrested early this morning in Las Vegas.
Let me get it straight. Jon Jones is not a great guy. Hell, he isn't even a good guy. He's a wife-beating, drunk driving, hit and running a pregnant lady, illegal steroid drug test failing McGregor cokehead piece of a garbage of a human being. Well, at least he was. He is now a faithful Christian who gives back to the kids and the community.
Motivation is to become the best man that I can be a reflection of God's love and his forgiveness, and ultimately have fans from around the world to see the Christ that's inside of me.
I get it. The man has demons, But if we're gonna talk a GOAT argument, then we gotta talk stats and legacy inside the octagon. I'll just go ahead and list some of the numbers. 28 fights in the UFC undefeated. No, that Matt Hamill loss doesn't count. The dude was getting his buns beat and the 12-6 elbow is now legal. 16 of those wins were all title fights. 11 title defenses, 19 fight win streak, and 2 division champion. Putting the PED pops and arrests aside, it's not even close. Jon has the best resume in the game. Now the thing with Jones is, as soon as he loses inside the octagon, his entire legacy will be shadowed by that one loss. Because he's hated by so many due to his actions outside the octagon, Jones really can't lose against Stipe if he wants to keep that GOAT status. Both guys are old and haven't been active over the last couple of years, so it's a tough call on who's gonna win, honestly. I know everyone wants to say Jones smokes Stipe, but look at the facts. Jon hasn't really been tested at heavyweight. I know he beat Gon and beat him easily, but that fight lasted about as long as Chael lasts in bet. I kid you not, there was a total of 15 strikes total thrown that night. We didn't see how a heavyweight Jones would perform with all that extra weight. Jones weighed in at 248 pounds for that fight. In walk-around weight terms, that's an extra 20 to 25 pounds from his light heavyweight days. We didn't see much of Jon's stand-up or if his gas tank was any good. Plus, that Gon fight was over a year and 7 months ago. Jones was sidelined due to a pec tear, and that alone is a major injury to come back from, especially considering his age. On the side of Stipe, we know he's a true heavyweight that's been tested, but the gray area for him if he's still any good. Stipe is 42 years old. Now, a lot of people will say that heavyweights go into their later years as compared to other weight classes. This is usually true as heavyweights normally don't need that speed or athleticism that most other weight classes rely on. Heavyweights more so rely on skill and knockout power. But Stipe is an odd one out. He's an all-arounder that's good in all aspects of MMA. His stand-up, ground game, and knowledge is all good, but he's not really great at any one thing. Nor does he have that Ngannou touch of God. Speaking of the Predator, Stipe's last fight was a brutal knockout from Ngannou that folded him. Literally. And that was almost 4 years ago. A lot of people are throwing Stipe under the bus, but taking a step back, between the two guys, there's just so many questions and unknowns. It'll be a lot closer than most people think, but let it be known, if Jon Jones wins, we as a community must come together and forgive his sins. Jon Jones will be the GOAT of MMA.
Last thing.